Hey, this is Mr. Snow. If you like what you're about to see, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, and comment in the section below. With that said, on with the video.
What's this? A Snow review? In 2018? Are they coming back? Nah, at least not regularly anyway. I ran into a game that gave me enough to talk about. So yeah, I'm not against doing any more, but they won't be a regularly returning part of my channel. One of those I have to find enough desire to talk about something. Anyway, let's talk about Hollow Knight, because I'm gonna be a contrarian and say I didn't like it much. Alright, before my sub count goes straight to hell, let me go ahead and go over what I like about it. Even its most vocal detractors all agree Hollow Knight looks damn amazing. The animations are gorgeous and fluid, the character design is simple and sticks with you. Even though the surrounding is dim and depressing, the characters have a full range of life and quirkiness, ranging from an overly prideful little midget warrior to a put-upon housewife mosquito having to manage the family business while her husband is off who knows where. The music was carefully constructed to reinforce the dreary atmosphere looming over the entirety of the game, and bouncing off enemies like Scrooge McDuck is damn fun. My two major critiques of the game come down to the game progression and difficulty. Let me start with game progression. Ideally, when you start a game, it tells you through either dialogue or layout what you're doing and where to go. If you look at Super Metroid, the intro cutscene and space station level informs the player about the Metroids and how important they are, so when the last one gets stolen from a spaceship and Samus chases it to the planet Zebus, the player knows the object of the game is to retrieve the Metroid. From there, the player completes several smaller objectives in the pursuit of the larger one. With regards to the layout telling me where to go, look no further than classic side-scrolling games. Like in Mario, you only have one direction to go, so you know progress is that way, though this doesn't really apply to Metroidvanias given the sprawling labyrinths of their maps. I bring up those two examples because Hollow Knight really doesn't do that. Just to make sure I wasn't talking out of my ass, I went and started a new file, and all you get as far as any objective the game might want you to go after is a rock with some masks glued to it. After that, the player goes to Dirtmouth, and an NPC tells me there's loot underground people got greedy for. That's it. What am I doing underground? If it's just looking for treasure as well, then what motivation do I have to explore further after I gather a few hundred of the currency? When the game finally did give me a concrete goal to fight towards, it was about 8 hours in, and by then it was too late. I had no interest left. Another gripe coming out of game progression I have is the game map. Now I understand it'd be a bad idea to give me the map from the word go, and I'm all for buying maps. But there is an item in the game called the quill. The quill is supposed to fill in the unmapped areas of the map for you after you go there. Two problems I have with this. One, it only supposedly fills in the map after the player goes to a bench. Two, it doesn't fill out everything. There are plenty of times I'm wandering around falling into different holes and they aren't being added to the map. I'd also like to compare the inferior map mechanics of Hollow Knight to the superior map mechanics of Super Metroid. In Super Metroid, the map updates as you travel. Sure, you can find a map terminal and get a broad scope of things, but the map won't give you every detail. It's left to the player to find them. But as mentioned, the key difference is the map is filled out at the same time as player exploration. Having to go to a specified area to get not even the entirety of your exploration accounted for is just tedious and only serves to be a middleman. While we're talking about the map, I think it's the best example to illustrate the poorly implemented respawn function. The way respawning works is once you die, you go to a bench/save station, just like Super Metroid and pretty much every other Metroidvania. In Super Metroid, however, the bosses tended to be located near save points with the exception of the final two bosses. This allows the player to get back into the fight fairly quickly. As the bosses are supposed to be the most difficult aspects of the game, it makes sense that the developers would prepare a save point so when the player expectedly dies, they can get back in there and try again with little time in between. Hollow Knight, on the other hand, will space out, sometimes drastically, save points from the boss fights, forcing the player to slog through the same stretches of disposable enemies and empty platforming challenges just to try again. These stretches always killed any desire I had to continue playing the game, and half the time I turned the game off, this was the cause. Now granted, Hollow Knight has many more bosses than Super Metroid does, and because of this, there are times when a save point is next to a boss, but there are also many times when save points are located far away from bosses. Maybe someone out there who is a greater expert on the game than I can explain otherwise, but it always felt as though the save points were either near bosses that awarded relatively unimportant prizes, or no prize at all, or set far from important bosses that gave me an ability to further progress through the game through either opening an area or giving me an item to get past another obstacle. I feel I can best sum up the game with the statement, the game isn't difficult, it's tedious. The bosses aren't insanely hard, but they do require a small learning curve. Either that or I'm really good at the game's combat. However, when I die to an unexpected surprise on the way to the boss, or die once or twice learning a boss's pattern, then have to traverse 10 minutes of map space again just to have another go, it's not difficult, it's just wasting my time. Wandering around aimlessly isn't hard, but when I can only update my map at a save point instead of naturally as I move along, the game isn't challenging my sense of direction, it's just wasting my time. So do I recommend it? Does it matter? The internet already decided the game is a piece of indie gold, so me not liking it much makes no difference. Everyone already bought it. I mean, I'm not upset I can't refund it, but if I knew how much I'd hate the map and exploration, I wouldn't have bought it. Anyway, if you love it, don't let me stop you. And I hope y'all watching have a great day.